Man, oh man, what a Week 13 win by this Green Bay Packers football team. It is time for the NFL to stop sleeping on the Green Bay Packers, winning here against the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs here in Week 13, 27-19, putting the Packers now at 6-6. This was an overall amazing performance. Now 3 weeks in a row with a victory, the Packers winning the last 5. They're really starting to play very consistent football right now. An amazing performance by Jordan Love. Last week I said every single week for the last 4 weeks, Jordan Love has gotten better each and every game. And I didn't think it would happen yet again this week. I thought he'd have a good performance, but it happened yet again. For the 5th straight week in a row, he's progressed. And he's looking like the real deal here in Green Bay and like a true franchise quarterback. The Packers are on the up right now. They have a very good chance to make the playoffs. So in this video, we're going to go over my instant thoughts and reactions to this Sunday night football game. Prime time, Week 13, Packers win against the defending Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs. But first, I wanted to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, Factor. This busy fall season, you can count on Factor for fast, tasty meals that fit your lifestyle. Factor supports wholesome eating made simple. Their menus are updated weekly and include over 27 meals and over 33 add-on options. Choose your favorite meals or let Factor craft your order based on your taste preferences and meal history. Factor even offers keto, calorie smart, chef choices, and vegan plus, which includes seafood, meat, and plant-based meals. Personally, I've been using Factor for a little bit over 2 months now, and it was a great investment. It cuts down on grocery store trips and cooking, so I've been using Factor a lot for all of my lunch meals, which just makes it very easy. Their fresh, never frozen meals are super easy to prepare and taste really good. And right now, Factor has a great promotion going on. Head to factor75.com or simply click the link down in the description and use code BASS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. That's 50% off your entire first Factor box at factor75.com with code BASS50. Again, thank you to Factor for sponsoring today's video. All right, so now let's dive into my thoughts and reaction to this amazing Sunday night football game. The Packers put together a amazing performance all around, offense, defense, special teams. But obviously, we got to start with Jordan Love finishing 25 of 36, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did take 2 sacks, which is kind of the first time I think in a while he's taken sacks in a game, and finished with a 118 quarterback rating, and in every single stat, outplayed Patrick Mahomes in this game. The Packers offense scored 27 points against this Kansas City defense, which I believe was 3rd in the league against points. And this is the most points in offense all year has scored against the Chiefs. Man, I was so happy with the way Jordan Love played in this game. And again, he just keeps getting better and better. All night he looked, which, earlier this season, over a month ago, that was the concerns with Jordan Love. He wasn't really efficient. He wasn't too accurate. That is all but changed in the last month. Jordan Love looks like a completely different player, a lot better of a quarterback this last month. He was super efficient tonight, 25 of 36. And then also he was on time with all of his reads, finding the open wide receiver or a check down. It seemed like he knew exactly where he wanted to go based on the play call, based on his hot reads, and he delivered a good ball. And man, this is an offense still without Aaron Jones and Luke Musgrave, 2 starters. But man, A.J. Dillon and Tucker Kraft stepped up tonight. Tucker Kraft has been, halted into this tight end 1 spot, and he has shown that he's able to do it. Kraft finished 3 for 37, and all around, I didn't see him make too many mistakes. As for the other wide receivers on this offense, a big day from Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, the Packers' number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. Christian Watson with just another unreal day after an amazing bounce-back performance last week against Detroit. Late in the game, it did seem like he might have pulled his hamstring again, which would just be awful. I mean, this guy can't catch a break, and he's just starting to get hot again. So hopefully that was just cramping. It didn't look too good, but hopefully we'll get an update on him tomorrow at some point. But Christian Watson finished 7 receptions, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The second touchdown just taking the ball out of the sky. A beautiful throw by Jordan Love. Christian Watson high pointing the football. He's starting to make contested catches where earlier in the year that was the problem. And Romeo Doubs, 4 receptions for 72 yards. That long of 33 yards where Jordan Love put so much height under the ball and it just sunk right in between the defenders, and Romeo Doubs making an excellent contested catch. He's been good in contested catch situations all year, and he showed up today. Watson also carried the ball twice for 15 yards, and in terms of the other runners on this Packers offense, A.J. Dillon with a great day, a more efficient day than we're used to seeing in terms of average. Dillon went 18 for 73, 4.1 yards per carry. Pat Taylor went 2 for 29, had that long of 24, his career best. Some of the other receivers to get some yardage tonight, Tay Wicks, after returning from injury, missed that Lions game, came right in and made some clutch catches, 1 on 3rd down. He went 3 receptions for 43 yards. Jaden Reed went 4 for 16, 2 of which were jet touch passes, but still count as receptions. But nonetheless, they're still using him in the way that we all love to see them using Jaden Reed as that motion guy. The Packers did so much misdirection today on the offense, whether that was reverses, end arounds, jet touch passes, counter runs, and it really confused this Chiefs defense. And the speed that the Chiefs defense has, it got rid of that. It allowed the Packers to set the edge. It allowed the Packers to win at the line of scrimmage, and they did a great job at that. They still switched Rasheed Walker and Josh Nijman at left tackle, and John Runyon and Sean Ryan at right guard. And hey, if it works, then you keep doing it, and it clearly has worked. Love did take 2 sacks today, but that last one was just him basically getting down to continue the clock to run, to kick a field goal, to go up by 8. Overall, this offensive line has just been playing a lot better in the last month, and that has to do a lot with, Jordan Love's success as well. This offensive line is stepping up. They're starting to play, together with continuity, and that's even with swapping out left tackle and right guard every other drive or however often the Packers do it. I'm still a big, huge supporter of Sean Ryan starting at right guard, but I didn't notice John Runyon making too many mistakes tonight, which is a surprise because you expect going into this game Chris Jones to wreck John Runyon. And I know Jones had a sack. It was late in that game, but he really didn't do too much, and I feel like the Packers handled him very well. Now, there was a few mishaps on the offense. A couple penalties on a couple drives did kill the drives. But other than that, I thought this offense was super efficient today. There was the end of the half blunder as well, where Patrick Taylor stayed in bounds on both of his runs, really wasting a lot of time for the Packers, and they ended up with no points there. You'd love to see the Packers finish out that drive, finish out the half with points, but nonetheless, they still won. They didn't need it. It didn't come back to bite them. So, it's not that big of a deal, but you would like to see him finish that drive out. But man, I am just so happy the way Jordan Love is playing right now. And all the people that are always in my comments a month ago saying, oh, you wasted your money on a Jordan Love signed jersey or the Jordan Love signed helmet, and you should burn the giveaway Jordan Love jersey. You guys, man, step up and apologize, because I had people in the comments a month ago clamoring for Sean Clifford. It's ridiculous. You got to be patient with a guy like Jordan Love and look at the way he's playing once the offense is coming together. Wide receivers are making plays. The offensive linemen are blocking better. The running backs are running better, as A.J. Dillon did tonight. Man, Jordan Love is looking like the real deal. The Packers very well could go on a run here with this schedule coming up. This was the last of their hardest games remaining. I mean, we're talking New York Giants, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers, Minnesota Vikings, Chicago Bears. Not a single team with a winning record remaining on the Packers schedule. So man, shout out to Jordan Love, and shout out to everyone that's stuck with him and been supporting the Packers and Jordan Love, because right now he's hot. Also guys, 30 minutes before kickoff, I put out this 4-leg parlay on Sleeper, and it hit in the third quarter. So if you followed my picks there, hopefully you guys won some money, and you can also get a $100 deposit match on Sleeper using code BASS or the link down in the description. I'll be posting my plays on Sleeper on my Discord, on Twitter, and on my YouTube before each Packers game. So hopefully you tailed this bet and won a little bit of money. Now moving over to the Packers defense. So there are some issues on the defense still, and I know a lot of people are still kind of upset at Joe Barry and still don't want him here. But at the end of the day, the Packers held the Kansas City Chiefs to 19 points, and we're talking the the reigning Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes to 19 points, and created a turnover on Mahomes with that nice Keyshawn Nixon interception. So, there are a lot of issues, but they also held the Chiefs out of the end zone the first 2 drives, and they had to settle for field goals. They also held the Chiefs out of that 2-point conversion, which, would have changed the game slightly. The Packers still would have won with the way the game ended, but it definitely would have changed the game a little bit there. So, bend but don't break. I know we're sick of hearing that as Packers fans for this defense, but at the end of the day, the Packers scored 27, the offense did their job, and the defense did enough to hold the Chiefs under 20. They kept Patrick Mahomes in check. 21 of 33, 210 yards, a touchdown, an interception. They sacked him 3 times. This pass rush has been on fire, man. Van Ness with another sack, Preston Smith with a half a sack, Rashawn Gary with a half a sack, Kenny Clark with a half a sack, Devontae Wyatt with a half a sack. It died down later in this game, but early on, the pass rush is what forced the Chiefs to have to settle for field goals and allowed the Packers to keep the lead the entire game. Now, one way the Chiefs gashed the Packers was clearly in the running game, and just like last week, the Packers starting on offense, getting the lead early, and keeping that lead really helped them, because at the end of the day, the Chiefs kind of had to pass more than they wanted to. Because at the end of the day, the Chiefs had to end up passing more than running. And, with how well they were running, if they had the lead in the second half, they would have just kept running, and it was working easily. Pacheco, 18 for 110 and a touchdown. He had a 6.1 average. And this is a reoccurring theme for this defense. Running backs, running wild on this defense and getting, 5. Dude was running hard all night. I thought he was, out of the game after that injury, what it seemed like when he was bent backwards, like his legs were under him and he was bent backwards. I thought he was out after that, and yet he continued to impress and continued to run hard. So shout out Pacheco, but the Packers, this run defense is still definitely suspect. Mahomes went 4 for 26. Other than that, there's Clyde Edwards-Helaire went for 6 yards, and Kadarius Toney for 6. Looking at the wide receivers and tight ends for the Chiefs, kind of held Kelsey in check, but at the same time, he was wide open in the middle of the Packers, soft zone way too much. He went 4 for 81. And one of which I believe was on a 3rd and 18, and the coveted 3-man rush by Joe Barry just did wonders on 3rd and 18 and allowed Patrick Mahomes to find Kelsey wide open over the middle of the field. Like, if you're bringing 3-man rush, you're dropping 8 in coverage. You can use one of those guys to just man up Kelsey. No matter where he goes, you follow him. I don't understand that. I was saying that in my game preview. Just put someone on Kelsey regardless and have him go where he goes. Kelsey was open way too much in this game. The soft zone was, a reason for that. Rashee Rice went 8 receptions for 64 yards. They're definitely implementing him early and often. He's been a good receiver for them, pretty much the only good wide receiver for them this year. MVS, 2 for 25. Late in that game, definitely should have been DPI on Valentine, but to me, that's a makeup call for that awful late hit call on John Owens where Patrick Mahomes was running for a first down and was inbounds and was a runner at that point and was extending the play for a first down, and Owens put a clean hit on him, and of course the refs threw the flag because their poster boy Patrick Mahomes took a tackle. It's ridiculous. The refs, I feel like, really tried to change this game at the end, but there was a makeup call definitely on that DPI that should have been Valentine on MVS, which definitely would have changed the game. Maybe the Chiefs score a touchdown there and then have to go for 2 for the tie, but it wasn't called. But hey, makeup call in my opinion. Overall, the defense did enough. Defense that I was overly worried about or that I saw in this game that I thought had a terrible game. I thought Corey Ballantyne had a pretty decent comeback or bounce back game from last week. That was horrible. We finally got to see a full game of Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell, and Quay Walker was the leading tackler on this defense. John Owens got the start over Rudy Ford, which I thought was interesting, maybe just because Rudy Ford maybe isn't fully 100%. The return of Darnell Savage, he made a few nice plays, had a nice breakup on Kelsey. Didn't seem too out of place at any moment. Overall, this defense just did enough. They held the Chiefs to under 20 points, and the offense also doing enough, scoring 27, the most against the Chiefs defense this season. Before this game, going over the Packers playoff odds, we were right around like 54 to 55% chance. With a loss, I believe that dropped to like 47 or around 45%, but with a win, I think it goes up to around 73 to 75% chance for the Packers to make the playoffs. So although this wasn't like a must win, this is a massive win for this Packers football team. And like I said earlier, it's time for the NFL to stop sleeping on the Green Bay Packers. They can really go on a run here. They can be a playoff team with the way they're playing right now, just beating the reigning Super Bowl champs, the 8-3 Kansas City Chiefs. Just an impressive all-around performance by this offense, this defense, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, this Packers football team as a whole. But that about does it for this video. Those are my instant thoughts and reactions to this game. Let me know how hype you are down in the comments. We have the Giants next week, Monday Night Football. That should be, you know, a very winnable game by the Green Bay Packers. So they could definitely keep this hot streak going next week as well. But I appreciate you guys coming by. If you could leave a like down below, it supports my channel a ton. But I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.